I'm making this video to walk you through how to set up a no-loss crypto trading strategy. I call it the no-loss set and forget strategy, and I'm going to walk you through this bot setup and walk you through everything you need to know in order to set this kind of bot up. Now, I do want to make a few overall things. We're going to start on the macro, kind of like larger scale. What is this bot and who it's for? And then we're going to get into some of the setup particulars. And so watch at least through the beginning so you know how the bot works and see if it's something you're interested in. And then stick around for the particular ways to actually set it up if you're going to employ the strategy. So I do need to say I'm going to go through these risks real quick before I forget them. But trading is risky, crypto is risky, and you might lose everything. So this is not financial advice. I'm not your dad, so I can't tell you what to do. But do your own research, and this is for educational purposes to see what I'm doing, and for entertainment purposes to see if this is something you might want to explore. But don't take it as financial advice. Obviously, there's platform risk as well. We're going to be using a bot called CryptoHopper, which you'll see a referral link in the description below. This video is not monetized as of the time of making it, so that's a way you can support the work that I'm trying to do and just give back if you found this helpful. So please use that link if you can. But there are risks. So I actually had something this morning where the bot went offline because it disconnected from my exchange, and so there's risks like that. It's obviously you're using a bot, and so there's some risk that comes with that. If this isn't, it could get hacked, things like that. You're also using a centralized exchange in this strategy, and so not your keys, not your crypto, which is something we say a lot in the Bitcoin world. So just know that's a risk as well. Past performance is not future performance. So just because we back tested this, just because we paper traded it and it works, doesn't mean that you're going to actually see the same results. So you need to know that live trades are different. We don't factor in black swan events. Now, I would argue historically, based on our back testing results, what you'll see here in just a moment, that we actually did factor in black swan events. However, that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So there could be something that completely changes the game. Crypto is known for having high volatility, huge swings in price, and so that's a part of this. There's potential for you to hold bags of things, and so yeah, you just need to know all the risks, and there's probably many more risks. But let's get on the overall goals of this. Overall goal of this strategy is to see consistent cumulative gains with a low effort and low risk strategy. So this is why I call this a no loss set and forget strategy, because it's low effort, it's low risk because you're not putting much at risk. And it's low risk because the gains are modest, but consistently and cumulatively over time, they add up to a big, strong strategy. The indicators we're using some of the strongest indicators out there. We're going to use the MACD. Historically, if you ask any trader what the strongest indicator is, they're probably going to say the MACD. It has a 67% win rate. What that means is that it wins more than it loses. Now, it is a lagging indicator. So it's often not catching the beginning of a move. If there's like a trending move or a reversal of something's going bearish and then it starts to go toward the upside, this is a lagging indicator. Nonetheless, because of the way our strategy is set up, you'll still capture some of that move. But if you're looking to maximize at each individual trade, this is not the strategy for you. But we're going to combine this indicator with a few others in our strategy. So we're not just looking at MACD. That's going to be a required one for setup. We're also going to do the RSI, on balance volume, and the EMA. And I use the 10-day EMA. It's a shorter time frame. And that looks at the last 10 candles to see what the moving average is. When we're below the moving average, then when we cross over above the moving average, that is going to be whenever the bot is going to place a trade for you. And there's going to be some considerations you need to make. So you're going to need to think about your trade size. And so you want enough on each trade to make it worth doing. But you also want to balance this based on your total wallet size. So if you only have $100 to invest and you're trading on $5, well, making 5% on $5 is like 25 cents. So you have to discern if that's going to be good for you. Now, over enough trades, that's going to be great because the compounding effect is amazing. But you do need to make sure to kind of adjust your trade size to consider your risk and make sure you're not over risking too much in any particular trade. And then related to that is the funding amount. And so to ensure you don't get stopped out of good trades, I would aim whatever it is that you plan to trade monthly, I would aim to have 2 to 3 times that amount. And so you see I have a little calculator here. If our trade size was $10 and we think that we're going to be doing 100 trades a month with this strategy, it might be more than that, it might be less. You're going to need at least, I would say 2,000 in this trading account, or 3,000, somewhere between 2 and 3. That will ensure that if you ever get caught holding a token for longer than you expect, you do not need to sell it at a loss, but you can still continue your strategy and wait for that token to recover. Now, why am I focused on, why am I telling you that you might be holding bags? Well, this is for long-term conviction plays only. So who this strategy is for, if you're somebody like me that is planning to hold crypto for the long term, if you're planning to invest in Bitcoin, planning to hold Ethereum, planning to hold some of these things that you believe in, you don't mind holding a position. I've been in the crypto market long enough to where I've seen the highs and seen the lows, and I know that every 4 years I'm looking at the growth of my total crypto portfolio, and I'm fine to buy Bitcoin today because I know that in 4 years I'm still going to be holding it. So this is not something for somebody that's just looking to get in and out on quick profit. This is somebody that believes in the long-term conviction. So you're going to be focusing on coins and tokens that you actually would be willing to hold. We employ a trailing stop loss only strategy. What that means is that you're going to be entering into a trade, and then it's going to only sell whenever your stop loss, trailing stop loss is triggered. So what will happen is when your position increases by 4.25%, so if you traded $100, when it gets up to $104.25, it's going to arm your trailing stop loss. And so this is going to help you capture upward momentum if it keeps trending up, which a lot of tokens in the cryptocurrency market, they do. They go up really high. But it's going to sell if that ever drops 0.5% from that position. So you can imagine it'll trigger at 4.25%, but let's say that token goes up to 8% and you're up to $108, but let's say it goes back down to 7.5%, it's going to sell at $107.50. That's how that works. So, okay. Let me show you what you need. You're going to need an exchange. I use Coinbase Advanced. The fees are a little bit higher. I like the liquidity. Kraken is one that I'm showing you right now. Kraken Pro is free for US citizens to sign up. They even have trading bonuses. So if you don't have Kraken, I'll put a link to that as well. I'll put all my links below. You can sign up. It's a great exchange, trusted in the US. There's other exchanges you can run. In fact, you'll see here, we're going to select exchanges with CryptoHopper in a moment. I'll show you all the ones that it's available for. But please note, you're going to need to check your jurisdiction. So where I am, Kraken and Coinbase Advanced are the ones that work. But the other thing you're going to need is CryptoHopper. So CryptoHopper is the way that you customize a trading bot. So CryptoHopper will tap in with an API into your exchange, and it's going to execute trades for you. Now, there are some risks associated with that, which I've already suggested. But you will need this in order to do this if you want to do anything other than manual trading, which you don't need CryptoHopper to do manual trades. You can already do that on your exchange that you're using. So I have a link for this down below. This is something you're going to need. But let's look at pricing. You're going to want to use at least the Explore here. What this is going to allow you to do is it's going to check every 10 minutes for your strategy and place buy and sells based on your strategy. It's going to scan the markets pretty consistently. It allows you to backtest and paper trade. So I'm going to recommend that before you even start trading with live cash, that you verify some of my back testing that I've done here. And I'm going to walk you through some of that here toward the end. But you're going to, once you've verified that, you're going to want to start doing some paper trading, which is simulated trading. So it's not real money. It's just going to be trading in a simulation, and it's going to show you whether the bot is working or not. Okay, so that's what I would recommend is, I'm not trying to convince you to go trade real money. I'm just saying you can backtest this, paper trade it, set it up for yourself, kind of get familiar with the tool. So, okay. I love CryptoHopper. I think that they've got a lot of great documentation. You'll see here that if you go over to the documents, you can pretty much explore anything that you have questions on. I also use ChatGPT to answer general questions, so you might want to have that up as well, just as a resource. But let's go ahead and I'm going to log in and create this. And at this point, if you think this strategy is for you, or if you're not convinced, let me show you what this bot could do for you, and then I'll show you how to set it up. Okay. So what I've done is I backtested this on Bitcoin, and I'm currently backtesting on Ethereum. I'll make this link available as well so you can see it. But what you'll notice is that I actually don't have any unprofitable months where I sell for a loss, but I do have some months where the max profit was 0 because we didn't enter any trades, just none of our signals hit. And so they mostly happen, they're concentrated around May and June, which makes sense. Those have mostly been bearish months, historically speaking. And what I've done is I've overlaid whether we had a bullish or bearish month for Bitcoin. And then the color coding is how my strategy did during those. And so what you'll notice is that it's pretty consistently posting gains over 5%, even in bearish and bullish sideways months. And so sometimes like this one you see here, this is 1.71%. So I mean, barely clawing or catching on, but it's still working. You do need to know that when you do a back test, it assumes that you have enough quote currency, which is the currency you're placing the trade in, to place all your trades. And it also, you need to know that not all positions are closed during a back test. So you might have open positions that linger in March that just were not able to close at a profit in March. They linger into April, or they might linger into May, depends on the market. So this is why I suggest having 2 to 3 months runway for this trading strategy, is so that you can mitigate some of that bag holding. So this is not a way to maximize every single individual trade. This is for somebody that was going to dollar cost average into crypto and see what they could make. Just by increasing their position size. It's a long-term set and forget strategy, and your results may vary. But let's get into what I actually what this could actually do for you. So I've made this calculator here, and yes, this is real. Okay, so let's start with 1. So your starting trade size at $20. Let's imagine that you're just going to make a trade with $20, and you're going to enter into a trade with that, and your average profit, let's just say it's 3% after fees. So this strategy, 4.25%, assumes that you have trading fees. So you're really, after your trading fees on your exchange, you're probably really going to be making closer to like 2.5. So let's just say 2.5 here. After one trade, you've made 50 cents. So not that great, but you've grown your portfolio by 2.5%. Well, what happens after 2 trades? Because now the next trade is trading off $20.50. Okay, well, now you've gone up 5%, right? Because now you have $21.01. Well, what happens after 10? Okay, well, after 10 trades, now you're starting to see that profit is growing. Even though you're only making 2.5% per trade, you're actually increasing your profit percentage overall and compounding the growth to 28. And here's the thing, guys. 10 trades in a day is not uncommon. If you look over here at these backtesting results, like January of 2020, we made 271 successful sells. So let's just enter that in and see if you actually were able to capture all of those trades, what would happen after 271 trades? Your $20 starting trade size would grow to $16,000. And this is just simple compounding interest. Now, there are variables here, okay? You're going to have slippage. Sometimes you're not going to get a sell order executed. Sometimes you're not going to get a buy order executed. Sometimes you're going to be in a trade, and if your wallet size is only $20, well, you can only really enter into one trade at a time until this trade is filled. And if you're in that trade for, let's say, 3 days, well, you're only going to be able to do that at the max 10 times in a month. So this is not going to be 271, it's going to be 10. But if your wallet size is large enough to where your trade size is just a portion of that. So let's say that I was only trading 5% on my wallet. That means my trade size is going to be 20, but I know that I'm going to be able to do 200 trades. Well, now we're talking. So a lot of this is really variable. You just have to know that going in. And so don't go crazy. If you see, like, let's say I enter 500, this is going to be an astronomical number, 4 million. Now here's the deal. Every time it compounds, it assumes that your trade size is based on this new value here. You're not going to be making $4 million trades. There's not enough liquidity for you to do that on any particular exchange. And so as this grows, this strategy is going to have to change. But this is great for a beginner, great for somebody that's executing a new strategy and wants to get into the world of trading. So, okay. If I've convinced you, let me show you how to actually set this up. So like I said, you're going to go to CryptoHopper here. And the first thing it's going to have you do is sign up and select an exchange, okay? Like I said, Coinbase Advanced, Crypto.com, KuCoin. Where I am, Crypto.com has an exchange and a retail account, and I don't have access to the exchange account. So I have to use Kraken, Coinbase Advanced. You can use some of these like Probit or Binance US, depending on your jurisdiction, even KuCoin, but it depends on your jurisdiction. And so I don't really know kind of where you are, but let's just pretend that we're signing up with Probit just for fun, okay? I'm going to switch to paper trading, and this is what I would recommend that you do. I'm not going to walk you through how to set up APIs. So let's go to paper trading, and let's look at our quote currency, okay? I have been using USDC for my quote currency, but for this, I'll use Tether USDT because, for beginners, I'm just going to use that to continue, okay? Now, when I'm setting up this bot, you can copy a bot, you can use trade signals, a quick bot builder, but we're going to go custom bot because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, okay? I'm going to skip subscription, start trading manually. for the moment, just so I can show you how to set this up. But like I said, you will need at least the Explorer account in order to set this up. So as I'm setting it up and as I'm letting it load, let me show you what I've done to backtest this, and I'll make this available to you. So we backtested all these results, and we've compiled all these results on a month-over-month basis right here. So you can see every single month how this did and what the sentiment of that month was. Was it bullish, bearish, or sideways? It'll tell you how many sells you've made with a profit, how many with a loss, and what your average holding time was in hours. So you can see some of these are holding for nearly a week and a half. Some of them are holding for less than a day. Some of them are holding for just a few handful of hours. I've also created this table here so you can see what the average is here. So the average max profit per trade was around 5.33%. That means that on any particular trade, the max that it was making on average was about 5%. Obviously more in bullish months, obviously less in bearish months, and somewhere in the middle on sideways months. So you can look at those stats here. But these are cumulative gains that we backtested and that you're about to be paper trading. So what you'll see here is that we are logged into our Hopper so that we can configure this bot, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, kind of walk through what you're going to need to do to set this up. It's actually going to ask you to configure your bot. It's going to take you to a page that looks like this. So basic settings, I'm going to call this what this strategy is. It's a no loss set and forget strategy. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go to exchange here. So we're paper trading, and it's going to allow you to choose the exchange. So then you can set your notifications here, but let's get into some of the things that matter here. Make sure that the order type is a limit order. So the limit order is the only thing one of the only things I'll talk to on this page, because limit orders and versus market orders, you're always going to want to do limit orders here because you're looking for a specific, you're hunting for a price at a specific, on a specific strategy. Okay. It'll let you set the number of max positions or max percentage open position per coin. So on this strategy, I can have 100 open positions per coin. So I can have 100 open positions on Bitcoin, and the max number of positions according to this would be 80, because that's just like the number based on the bot. You can enable a cooldown, which is what I would recommend, for about 30 minutes after you've bought or sold. This will ensure that if you've sold, you're not buying back in at a higher price just because the trade is hot. It allows the market to cool off. It allows, it's just like a risk tolerance thing here. And then finally, you have the option that if you're only buy if you're not already in position. So I have this turned on that I only buy if I'm not in a position, and I put 2.5% here. So the reason that I'm doing that is that I want to make sure that if I'm already in a position at a certain price and I get more signals, that I don't need to load up and kind of over leverage myself into this particular trade, because I'm pretty close to that trade already. I'm already in it. And then finally, you can auto merge positions. Now what this will do is if you bought something for say $1 and then it crashes to 50 cents, it'll buy it and you bought it again. It'll merge these positions together to where you now can see your profit and loss based on the merged positions on the average price of the coin that you purchased. I don't have this turned on for my strategy right now, simply because I like to manage each individual trade individually. But let's get over to coins and amount. So my quote currency here is USDT. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that the coins you're trading are ones that, like I said, you have a long-term conviction for. So I'm just going to put Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, just so you can see how this works. You also have the option to allow altcoins, but it's only available for a certain level of subscription. Now, when I spoke about wallet sizes and percentage buy amount, this is what I'm talking about here. So what I try to do is determine that my percentage buy amount is 2.5% of my total wallet. And the minimum that I'm going to want to spend is $20 per order. I'm going to force this as a minimum buy order. So if I don't have $20, it's going to, if my wallet percentage, let's say my maximum amount is $10,000. Well, my percentage buy amount is going to be $250. That's about 2.5% of this amount. But if I have a bunch of trades open and I don't have $250 in the account, it's going to force the minimum buy amount, which is $20. So now that I've done that, go ahead and save it. Now I'm going to go to my strategy. So I'm not going to do signals only. I'm going to do a strategy. And these strategies you'll see are strategies that you are going to need to set up. And so let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go to my library and go to strategies. So I'm going to create this strategy. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And we're going to call this one the MACD no loss strategy. Okay. And you can give it a description and image if you want. I'm not going to do that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to add some indicators. So the first one we're going to add is the MACD indicator. So we want to make sure that this signal is a required signal for your token. I'm actually going to move this to the daily and move this lower to 6 and 13. And this is going to be a necessary signal, okay? Now, why do I have that? Well, what's going to happen on the daily, this is going to be confirming a larger trend for me, okay? So once I've seen this as a larger trend, on the daily, I'm sorry, on the 4 hours, not on the daily. This is going to be on a larger trend. When I see a MACD that's crossing, I know it's going to tell my bot to place a buy order for me. But I don't want just this one, because just this strategy alone is not going, just this indicator alone is not going to be reliable. You're going to have lots of noise, lots of false breakouts, and you're going to be, it's also going to be lagging a bit. So it's not really going to work too well unless it's combined with some other things. So we're also going to combine this with another MACD, and we're going to do this one on the daily. Now this one, we're going to do a faster time frame. We are actually going to not make this necessary. Okay, so what the rationale here is that if you see the MACD crossover on the 4 hour, and you notice that the MACD on the daily has crossed over, well, then we know that we might be in a trend. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this signal for 2 candles. That means it's going to keep it for 2 days. So if I see the MACD crossing over, it's going to keep that signal for 2 days. For this one, I'm going to keep it for 1 candle. Okay, that means on this 4 hour chart. So this one will stay as confirmation. This one is just that not necessarily moving signal. So next indicator we're going to add is on balance volume, and you don't need to adjust the settings for this one here. You basically, you're just confirming the volume that is coming onto the exchange. So this is a volume indicator, and we want to keep that on the 4 hour time frame just as much as the rest of our indicators. They're all going to be 4 hour except for this other MACD. The next one that we're going to do is the EMA, and we're going to change this to the 10. So, okay, we're on the 10 here. So the 4 hours, we're on the 10. There we go. We've got that one. And the last indicator we're going to use is the RSI. And now the way you're going to set this is that the signal to buy is going to happen whenever the value is less than or equal to, we're going to say 35, okay? So typically 30 and 70 are the oversold, overbought ranges, but we are going to be keeping this a little bit under that, over that threshold, because remember, we're not trying to catch the very bottom, we're not trying to catch the very top, we're trying to catch some modest gains. And so when you start to see that the trade or that the token might be a little bit oversold and it's not quite bottomed out, so we're going to be setting this just a little bit higher. And then with crypto, it's really volatile, and so this is going to give us more signals. When you combine it with some of these others, it'll make sure that we are in a good position to enter some trades. So all of these, you want to make sure you're keeping the candles for 2 candles, which means that it'll be 2 4-hour candles that this is good for. So when you see this, that needs to be 2 candles. When you see the MACD here cross, it's going to leave that open for 2 candles. And then if we hit another one of these in that candle or in the next one, it is now going to place a buy order. You'll notice that we do not have any sell signals on the strategy, and that's because we are only using the trailing stop loss. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a minimum of 2 out of the 5 signals. I don't need anything more than that. I know that this one's required, and then I need any one of the other ones for confirmation. So that is all we need. We're going to save this strategy, and now we're going to go back to our bot. And when we configure this, based on our strategy, we're going to select the MACD no loss strategy. The other settings that we're going to need to adjust here are going to be the trailing stop loss. So we don't need to actually adjust any sell settings or sell strategy because we're going to be using trailing stop loss only. So we'll enable this. Our trailing stop loss percentage is going to be 0.5. So that means if the token moves down by 5.5%, we're going to be we're going to be executing our sell. And we're going to arm this whenever the token crosses 4.25%. We don't want this to time out after anything. We are use trailing stop loss only, and we only sell with profit. This is to ensure that the bot can sell a position after your trailing stop loss. If it's not able to place the sell, because this does happen during high volatility, it can happen that a position gets sold with a loss, especially when using market orders on currencies with low trading volumes. So only selling with a profit ensures that this bot is never going to, if the token is highly volatile and it goes up 6% and then it goes down 6% and you're not able to catch a sell, it's not going to sell with a loss. The only other setting we want to adjust here, if you want, this is just a bonus, is to enable dollar cost averaging. What I do is I actually have this enabled as a limit order, and I let it retry 3 times. And what it's going to let you do is set a percentage that after which the feature will place a new buy order. And so as an example, crypto is really volatile. So let's say 10%. If you bought a token for $1 and the token goes down to 90 cents, this is going to trigger a dollar cost average purchase. And what you can do is double down. You can do a custom percentage. I usually double down. And so what that will do is lower the cost that you spent per token. Let's keep our scenario of $1.90. It'll lower the cost of the token to about 95 cents. So this is a great way to bring your cost down. That way it lowers the average price, and you can trade out of the loss a lot easier if the market is trending downward. If you have an order of $1 and then the market just completely collapses over the course of a month and it's down 50%, which does happen in crypto, well, you're going to be caught holding that for a long, long time. And so dollar cost averaging is already a way that you can mitigate that risk. So we're going to save that. And now we are set up on the spot. So everything is configured. What you're going to be allowed to do is you're going to enter in your start balance here. So let's start with, let's just say $1,000. And we don't have any profit right now. This is my start balance. Okay, I don't need to convert anything. But now the bot is enabled, the bot is selling, and if it were connected to an exchange, it would be, again, looking for targets. So that is it, my friends. This is how you set up the no loss, set and forget strategy. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of gimmicks to it. And as I said at the beginning, in the middle, and I'll say it at the end, if you choose to trade, that's on you. If you choose to do this kind of stuff, you need to assess your own risk and do your own research. So not trying to provide financial advice here, just showing you what I do. And so far, tell you my results right now in 2025, just after 5 days of launching this bot for the new year. I've been paper trading it and back testing it for so long. After 5-6 days, this bot is up around 20% right now, and it's executed about 15 to 16 profitable trades, and I expect that it will continue to do that. So that's just kind of where this particular strategy is for me right now. After backtesting it extensively and then kind of redeploying this strategy on a live exchange 5 days ago, doing pretty good. So thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, or if you want to follow along with the journey, feel free to subscribe, like the video, share it with others. I really do appreciate it. Thanks.